Hello and happy Mother's Day. I'm Meteorologist Chris Ramirez with the KHOU 11 weather team. We are tracking the possibility of some rain and storms. They're going to be moving to the Houston area as we head throughout the next few hours. So right now we're dealing with that rain chance starting to increase, especially to our northern areas. The National Weather Service is keeping us under that flash flood watch. Also, they're issuing a severe thunderstorm watch for areas north of Houston. That does include portions of actually entirely Montgomery County, Walker, San Jacinto, Polk, and Grimes County, as we could see some torrential rain. But the most important thing to note is the severe thunderstorm watch that has been issued. We could see with any storm that does move through the area 2-inch wide hail, damaging winds, and some dangerous lightning. And we also can't rule out the possibility of some isolated spin-ups that could produce a tornado or two. So that tornado risk a little bit on the increased side as we head into the next few hours. We have this low pressure system that's spinning around centered over the Texas Panhandle, and it's causing quite of a mess up to the north and west of the Houston area. We're also dealing with a warm front that is moving in from the Gulf of Mexico. That warm front is spawning a few showers and storms, especially across Houston at the current moment. These are more isolated in nature, but looking like they're increasing as they're making their way north of the I-10 corridor. So we're going to continue to see that isolated storm threat for the Houston area, all thanks to this cold front. So what really concerns me is what's going to happen once that warm front makes its contact with that boundary that's bringing the storms to the north of us. That could spawn off a few severe storms in the picture. And as we look to the north of Huntsville, there is some strong storm activity moving through and moving toward the I-45 corridor just south of Centerville. That is actually, there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for portions just to the north of the Bryan College Station area. So just keep in mind that we very well could see some of those stronger storms make their way into our northern areas within the next hour or two. So keep that in mind, that if you are spending Mother's Day north of Conroe along I-45, that you have a more severe storm risk across your area for today. But also too, we're seeing this storm activity starting to increase even for the Houston area as this isolated downpour is actually just left the Katy area. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in a little bit closer. So if you are in Jersey Village, Cypress, Willowbrook, maybe the north parts of town, you're going to see this downpour hit your area within possibly the next 5-10 minutes. It's going to be very short lasting, not really long lasting, but just keep in mind that this line of storms that's moving through the Houston area is increasing in instability as it moves off towards the north. So as that come in contact with those storms north of us, we could see more stronger storm activity later on today. So as we track out what we're expecting to see within the next few hours, and like I said, a future track is showing you exactly what I said. Once that warm front makes in contact just around the Grand Parkway, North Grand Parkway, we could see some isolated strong storms in the picture just south of the Woodlands. So from the Woodlands, Huntsville, Bryan College Station, as well as Brenham, Spring, along our northern Harris County areas, you could see that strong storm threat later on within the next possibly hour or two. I would say within the next 30 minutes to an hour. As we go throughout the rest of our day, we are expecting more of those stronger storms to make their way into our northern areas as we get closer towards around the 2 p.m. hour. So around 2 p.m., we could definitely see that strong storm potential for areas north of the Beltway. That does include the Woodlands, that does include Conroe, areas south of Huntsville. We're still seeing that severe flooding risk for the area as they have already received torrential rain from recent rains. But just keep in mind that as we go throughout our day, we're going to see this storm risk start increasing for the Houston area as we go throughout the afternoon hours. So, and that severe weather risk is going to be lasting at least through 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then we're going to see a break in that storm activity. But this is just our first round of storms that are expected. We have another wave of storms expected for Monday afternoon. And so another severe weather risk in place for Monday around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. We could see some damaging winds with those storms. So in combination with all this rain, that could bring us some flooding potential for our northern areas. But just keep in mind that as long as that low pressure system that is currently just to the north of us, as long as that's spinning across the northern parts of Texas, that's really really giving us an unstable atmosphere, and we're seeing signs of that at the current moment with the storms that are north of Houston, north of the Bryan College Station area. And we're going to slowly start seeing those storms move southward in the coming hours, and we'll definitely keep you up to date with that. So that's low pressure system. This is our weather maker for the next 2 days. It's going to not move fast. It's going to remain here at least through tomorrow, bringing us another severe weather risk. So if you are just now joining us, we are tracking some storm activity that is now starting to increase across the Houston area. It is Mother's Day. Hopefully you had some time to get some breakfast with mom, but as we go throughout our day, you're really going to have to be weather aware as we could see some strong storms move northward as we go into the next 2 hours. So a warm front draped across southeast Texas. You're able to see that those storms form along that warm front as they move off towards the north. And unfortunately, as those storms move northward, they look like they're increasing in size and they're increasing in strength, especially as that storm is making its way through just now crossing 290 in the Beltway near Jersey Village. We're seeing some possible strengthening with that storm that is now moving into portions of northwestern Harris County. And so just keep in mind that as long as that warm front is there, we could still see these storms pack a bit of a punch, especially as it comes in contact with those storms that are moving in from the north of our area. So if you are in Jersey Village right now, you might want to stay put. We're seeing some very heavy rain in and around the Jersey Village area. And now this is now moving into the North Houston area near the North Beltway in Antoine Drive, near Bamble North Houston along 249. That is really, you're about to see some heavy rain move into that area. I'm a little concerned on what this is doing at the current moment. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the current hail situation to see if there is some possible hail with this storm. Not seeing any hail right now, but that doesn't mean that we could see some hail in the future as that potential storm moves northward into the northern portions of Harris County. So keep that in mind that as the storms are along that warm front, as it moves northward, we're starting to see these storms starting to increase in size and increasing intensity as they move into northern Harris County, especially north of the Beltway. But right now, if you are along 290, Jersey Village, Willowbrook, North Houston, if you are out towards Tomball, even Magnolia, you very well could see this downpour make its way into your area as we go into the next possibly 15 to 30 minutes or so. So that warm front definitely looking like it's ramping up in storm activity and intensity as we head into the next few hours. But we're also tracking on what's happening north of our coverage area, north of Huntsville. There is a lot of strong storm activity going on across just to the west of Madisonville. These are moving towards 45. So if you have any last minute travel plans, if you're heading out to Dallas, you might want to be extra weather aware for areas north of the Houston area as we're now warming up throughout our day. That is fueling these storms that are draped across portions of North Texas. So it's going to be a very rainy day across much of the state along our major metropolitan areas. So just keep that in mind for today. So hopefully you're able to be safe and don't have those last minute travel plans for today, because we are seeing some strong storms now moving towards I-45 just north of Madisonville within the next possibly 30 minutes to an hour. And as we go throughout our day, there is a good possibility that we very well could see these storms move southward into our northern areas, Huntsville, Conroe, Spring, Cleveland. We're dealing with that flooding risk, but one thing to note is that in addition to the flooding risk, we're dealing with that severe thunderstorm threat with possible damaging winds, large hail, as well as some isolated spin-ups that could spawn a tornado or two. And we're already starting to see that, especially out in towards portions of northern Harris County, along just south of 290, as that warm front is making its way up to the north. So if you are in Jersey Village, you're seeing some heavy rain right now, some possible hail that could see that as we go into the next 30 minutes to an hour, but we're not seeing any hail at the current moment. There's no hail with this storm that's moving through the North Houston area at the moment, but you really want to be just extra aware of the severe weather potential for today, lasting through the afternoon. And if you do not have those indoor plans, you might want to have those indoor plans because for Mother's Day, because we're going to see that storm risk now increase for us here across southeast Texas as we progress throughout the rest of our day. So of course we are tracking the latest on the weather situation for today for our Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Unfortunately, We have storms in the forecast, so hopefully you're able to be safe. Having a lot of lightning with this storm as it's moving off towards Jersey Village. So a strong storm increasing in intensity just into the northwest portions of the Houston area. So this is what we're going to continue to see at least through the rest of our day, especially as these storms become in contact with these storms up to the north of us here. So Conroe, Spring, Cleveland, Brenham, even Katy, you're going to be under the gun. Anywhere north of I-10, you're going to see that that severe storm potential, as well as some possible downpours and some possible lightning for today. So be extra careful if you do have to travel on the roadways to go see mom, but have those plans indoors if you are here across the Houston area for at least from this point forward through the rest of our day, and always be weather aware. At least have 2 or more ways to receive weather alerts. You can see the latest weather update on khou.com as well as on the KHOU app. We're constantly sending notifications. We have those severe thunderstorm watch in effect. We have the flash flood risk that's currently in effect for our northern areas, and you're able to get those notifications on our KHOU 11 app. We'll continue to keep you updated with the weather situation here for our Mother's Day across Houston for the rest of the day.